welcome to Just Start, Get Visible, your go-to resource of the journey to becoming more visible in a way that feels right for you.
I am so thrilled to be here for this conversation, Dallas. We have been talking about this for a little while, so I'm just thrilled to have you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, before we get into any of the stuff that I think our audience is expecting me to ask you, I actually found some stuff about you online because, I've been doing my research. And considering where we're at in the world, considering what I think a lot of people are feeling, the heaviness, the uncertainty, there's a mantra that I ran across that I really want to check in with you about. You look surprised. You said somewhere that your mantra is that business growth doesn't have to come at the cost of peace or purpose. I want to know out the gate, is that true?
Absolutely.
But did you always operate that way? Like, was this always your mantra?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. I got to dig there.
Okay.
Tell me about why this mantra is your mantra, and more importantly, why.
Okay. So I've been on an extremely long journey in business, and towards the beginning, it was not like that at all. I was working all night, missing time with my children and family. I think I was a little bit of a workaholic, just working all the time, trying to run to get to the end goal. And at the end of the day, I just wasn't very happy. And this went on for years. And so what I learned was slowing down a bit and making sure to make time for the people I love and the things that I value outside of work. I actually moved a bit faster, some kind of way, some kind of magical way, slowing down. So it wasn't like all the years that I rushed, it got me there faster. I was actually able to get where I needed to go while still spending time with my loved ones and taking time for myself and living in the moment and things like that. So that was a hard lesson, that I learned. So you don't necessarily go faster because you're neglecting the people you love, working all night. All you think about is work. When you put yourself first and you make time for your loved ones, you actually get to where you need to go, but just in a different way. That feels better.
Yeah, it's actually something that I think prior to 2025, I wouldn't have agreed with you, but because I did practice this slow down intentionality in a non-business related part of my life, I now understand it. So I spent a pretty significant amount of time in 2025 practicing Pilates, which I've grown to love.
Okay.
And the reason why I've grown to love it so much is because it truly is, for me, has been rooted in this less is more. Like, I don't have to go and do all these crazy aerobics. I mean, for some people who choose to do the aerobics, right? But truly, like, being intentional about the movement, being precise with it, not feeling like I'm doing all this crazy stuff has produced greater results for me. And so I understand that concept of like, okay, intentionality, slowing down, etc. But what I'm wondering is, you signed up to slow down, right? Was it hard to get the people on board around you on board with that? Or was it like you were fighting back on this decision that you had made to slow down?
I feel like it was easy to get the people around me on board.
Because they wanted you to slow down anyway?
Because I feel like everybody around me was just waiting for me to. It was like, you have to work again? Or Mom, you have to work again? It was just all these questions all the time. Or, you should take the night off. So I feel like it was a relief for everybody when I just slowed down. And I think my mood is also better now that I've slowed down. So I don't think anyone fought me on it.
Okay, which is fantastic.
Maybe
right?
I fought myself, but nobody else fought me on it.
And in fighting yourself, was it a hard switch? Or was it like, okay, I am tired, I'm exhausted, and I don't have any other choice but to slow down a bit? Like, for you, how did you get yourself there?
I think it was just realizing that time after time again, I kept building things that I felt trapped inside of. It was like I would build a business and I would work so hard for it. And then once I got to where I wanted to go, I was just very unhappy. I just didn't have a good balance. And then it like almost forced me to quit each time. And I think after doing that so many times, I think I finally got to a point where I was like, you know what, this is a pattern that I keep on starting businesses, literally working myself almost to death. Now I'm unhappy with what I've built. I'm unhappy with building myself inside of it, because a lot of times sometimes what it takes to get you there, you have to do the same thing to sustain it.
Yeah.
And you find out, you know what, this isn't the way I want to work. I don't love this. So I think after repeating that a few times, I was like, you know what, moving forward, I think I want to build differently. It just gets to look differently and feel differently.
Yeah. I want to get to the essence of what some of these businesses are. But before we do that, I find that almost in every conversation I have with you, I find out something new about you. I'm like, oh, you did that? Or you experienced? Like, it almost feels like you're this person who's lived a million lives. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that sort of kind of in the vein of what you told me about J-Day. So
yes,
I had the pleasure of having Dallas as you know, a guest at my birthday party, J-Day. And afterwards, one thing you shared with me that really has warmed my heart was that at the event, you saw a lot of different pockets of my life, and it gave you permission to be more than one thing, right? And for some people, they're like, oh, I'm just this. That's the only thing that I am. And I sort of kind of want to be this, but what are people going to think? And, you know, at J-Day, it was like, yo, I'm into this and this and this, and you better get in, right? And for you, I feel that way when I talk to you, that there are all these faces of you and even more, right, that I don't even know about yet. But it makes me think about the companies that you've created, the brands that you have launched, which consist of the ones that I know about anyway, right? Journal Junk Box, DG Journals, and Dallas Gordon Consulting, and probably other stops along the way as well. Before we dig into any of these, I need to know, is this what you thought you'd be doing?
No.
Okay. What did you think
Absolutely
what did you think you'd be doing?
I don't think I thought I'd have a business at this point at all. I don't know that I thought I would end up having a business necessarily. So I think I always wanted to be teaching or helping people in some capacity. But the types of businesses that I've had, I don't think I could have ever dreamed that I would be in those spaces. I mean, I did a baking business for a while.
See, I didn't know this.
Where I was designing wedding cakes and birthday cakes and like a professional baker. And I did that for a while, and I went from that to coaching, and then from that to selling stationery. And so, no, I haven't expected most of it, especially not the baking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you doing the baking?
Yeah.
I feel some kind of way now because you ain't offered up.
I don't like to cook,
Nope.
so I did enough baking. I don't like to cook, so I keep that real quiet. There's a lot of my background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is fantastic because you've given yourself permission to start things and decide if you like them or not and take pieces of it to the pieces that you want to do to the next thing, right? I didn't know this baking thing and I feel some kind of way about it, right? But the one thing that I have noticed that you do pretty consistently is that you are visible. All right.
Okay.
And so we have to talk about visibility because there are lots of people who come here to the Just Start Get Visible podcast because they're having a hard time with getting visible in a way that feels right to them. And I can't help but notice that you have a pretty regular presence, right? And substantial visibility on social media in a meaningful way, right? And you and I both know that visibility as an entrepreneur is often required, especially now when you gotta, do your craft and for some people do dances, which I don't want to do, right? But you have to be visible. I want to know, has that always been the case for you? And when I say always been the case for you, what I mean is this being visible piece. Have you always been comfortable with being visible? And I see a head shake no real quickly, right? When did you have to switch into giving yourself permission to be more visible to support the things that you started?
I will say towards the beginning, no, I didn't feel comfortable at all. And towards the beginning of my consulting business, I work with a coach who was like, you need to turn the camera on. Like, if you want to grow your business, people need to see you, especially if you are the brand and they're buying from you. They need to see you. They need to see you talking. They need to see you teaching. They need to get an experience. They need to experience you. And I was like, I don't do that. I don't get on camera. I had to tell him I'm a private person. I don't like to be online. And as soon as I turned that camera on and started talking, the rest was history. So I still today get very uncomfortable at times when I need to turn the camera on. And I have to get out of my own way. And I think that what helps me to get more visible and to stay consistent is thinking about the person on the other end that needs to hear the message. I feel like that mission is greater than my fear or my, me being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm more comfortable today with putting myself forward because I'm mission focused on who's on the other end that's going to get that message versus my discomfort. But no, I haven't always been comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You decenter yourself. You make it less about look at me, and more so about what is someone who's listening getting from this. And even the way in which lately I've noticed you've been recording, like you're in your car. And at first I was like, is Dallas in her car and is she parked? Like, what is going on here? And it's less of it needs to be a perfect production in a studio. And it's like, hey, I'm in my car, I'm recording this. And I appreciate that, right? Because if the message comes to you, the message comes to you wherever it comes to you at.
Right.
Right? The decentering piece, I can't help but think about the coaching component of the businesses that you've built, particularly Dallas Gordon Consulting. Is that where you're doing your coaching at?
Yes.
Why did you feel so compelled to start this coaching practice? When, let's be honest, you could have started anything. Clearly, you've been baking, right? You had a subscription box business for quite some time, right? And you decided, you know what? Coaching is a space that's important to me and to the people who are around me. But why? Why'd you plant a flag there?
I think that it's just been that one constant from the very beginning. Like, even as a child, I was in front of the chalkboard just acting like I was teaching people, or I would stand in the middle of the floor acting like I was talking to an audience. And I've always been the strong friend, still am today, where people would just naturally come to me for advice. Or if I'm out at the grocery store, strangers come up to me and they start conversations and they tell me all their problems, and I just begin to realize it's a gift because I have a heart to reach in and just help people and break things down and simplify things for people. I even went to college for theology.
Did you? Okay.
I did.
Okay.
And when I was doing it at the time, I had no idea why I was doing it. I think it was more like I didn't really want to go to college, and I just picked anything, and anything that I picked happened to be theology. And so it's just always been positioning me to do this. Yeah. So I feel like this is the one constant or something that I've been doing from the very beginning anyway, naturally anyway, whether I was being paid for it or not, I was coaching somebody through something.
Yeah. The upside to coaching is that there's so many different people that you can serve. However, what I've learned on my coaching journey, on both sides of the coaching practice, both giving and receiving, is that it is a lot more beneficial if you are clear about who you can best serve. Tell me about that journey for you and you deciding to coach. Where are you at in your journey of, and this is who I can best serve?
I've definitely been on a few different sides as well, and not, especially earlier on, not accepting that everybody is not going to be a client and everybody is not going to be the person I work with, and even fighting against it as well. I feel like for me, the people that I best serve just keep showing up consistently. Whether you try to fight against it or not, they just show up consistently. They find you no matter what. And I best serve company owners, typically women. I typically work with women who are just looking to grow. Some of them are looking to grow in confidence. Maybe they don't feel like they have what it takes to get their message out there into the world. They have what it takes to sell. Some people come to me for those type of issues, and other people are just straightforward. Look, I want to build my subscription. But I think no matter who I work with, it still goes back to the same thing of what you have on the inside of you is enough. You know, you thought that you were misstepping, and oftentimes your first thought was right. And we end up, by the end of our sessions together, discovering that, oh, my first thought, what I came in here thinking the problem was, is actually the thing that is my thing that I should stick to. So, yeah.
Yeah. I love that what you have inside of you is enough. Because lots of people, if you're a woman, if you're a man, go through this process of doubting, You know, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I enough? Am I the right person? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes often talk ourselves out of $1 million or just impactful ideas and opportunities overall. But I have to turn it back on you for just a moment, because we're here on the Just Start Get Visible podcast and you get the hard questions. Have you ever been someone who sat in the seat and thought to yourself, am I enough? Am I ready? Is this opportunity for me? Have you, now that you are in a space of having experience where you can coach people on this from the other side, did you have to be coached in this way?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me about your journey with discovering and believing that you are enough.
I think that it's an ongoing journey and story that you need to tell yourself, because there's always situations that come up where that little voice whispers to say, girl, you can't do that.
You're not supposed to be here.
Right?
Who let you in here?
Why are you here?
Right.
Okay. So I think that voice creeps up every now and then that's where that self-talk comes in. So I don't want to say, oh, I used to be no good and now I'm just so strong in it. I am strong in it, but that's because of the constant like self-talks that I do daily. It's when I wake up, what I tell myself about myself throughout the day, what I tell myself about myself, and before I go to bed, what I tell myself. It's the stories that I'm consistently telling myself, reminding myself like, girl, you got this. You are all that. Okay. You're going to walk through that door with boldness. You know, I have to consistently, intentionally tell myself these stories. So it's not that I just have it all together. It's just that I'm actively reminding myself on a daily basis of who I am.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I encourage my clients to do.
The reason why I love this so much, that statement of the stories you tell yourself, it makes me think about literally just a couple episodes back, episode number 243 I recorded. And the whole episode was rooted in momentum and giving yourself permission to start, which we talk about so much here. But it was you auditing what are the stories that you're telling yourself that are keeping you from starting, right? I'm not ready. It's not perfect, like whatever it is. And so I appreciate you bringing that up as a reference point, but also what I appreciate is that people like you who have started things, sold things, which we'll talk about in just a second, your experience with selling businesses. People believe sometimes that your category of folks don't have any struggles, right? Like you are past that imposter syndrome or self-doubt. And what you're here to really tell the people is like, it is something that you manage through, not something that you necessarily get over.
Right.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, because I think for some people, they assume like something's wrong with me, or I'm never going to have it, or I'm never going to reach whatever level of success because, oh, there's this voice in my head. Like I'm honest with people all the time. When I go on any stage, there's always some level of nervousness and anxiety for reasons that are different from other people, but still, it's still this feeling of, whew, like you've been doing this for 20 plus years. I'm still nervous, but I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I really appreciate your transparency in that area. I spoke just a second ago about the level of success that you have obtained as it relates to selling businesses. Right. And I've been so excited to talk to you about this because, you probably know that my last corporate role, I served as vice president of startup programming at one of the nation's largest nonprofits. And so I had a front row seat to lots of organizations that were selling, that were looking to IPO, that were doing multi-million dollars, doing, being very successful. And in lots of those spaces, when you're doing many millions of dollars, lots of them are looking to sell. And that's what you hear about. Okay, you can sell your business if you're doing, 5 million, 10 million, 30 million, whatever. However, I don't hear a lot of conversations about smaller businesses that are selling, which you've done, right? I need to talk to you and my people. Right? So tell me about your journey with selling. How many times have you sold your business?
I've sold 3 times.
3 times, okay. And was it your intention to sell in all of those instances, or did it just come to be?
My first time selling, it just came to be.
Okay.
My second time selling, I built the business to sell it.
Okay.
This time, it just came to be.
Just came to be.
I didn't expect to ever sell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your biggest lesson? And I know biggest is a little hard, but I'll say a memorable lesson in selling in either of the 3 situations.
I think timing is everything.
Okay.
I attempted to sell the same business, I don't know, a year ago. I thought about it, tried to sell it, didn't work, waited, got a hunch I should try again, and then boom, sold. So I think timing is everything in all of it. Just because you can put your business out there for sale, it may not work the first time. It does take time. You may be in talks with a lot of different buyers or interested potential buyers, and it just may not be the time at that moment to sell it for whatever the reason is. And I think that this time as well, I was really particular about who I wanted to sell to as well. I didn't want to pass it to an investor who just was looking to how much profit is it making, how often, oh, they just want to take the money out. I really wanted to pass it to either a woman or a family who was passionate about stationery and really cares about the business and really cares about the customers and really wants to actively grow and develop the business. So I was really particular about who I wanted to sell to as well. And those right people came along this time. But the first time, those right people didn't come. Yeah. You know, so I think people, you don't have to just sell it to anybody because you're trying to rush. The timing may not be right. The people may not align that you need to sell to. And it's okay to stop, keep running the business, try again at a later date. I think that's one of my biggest lessons is timing.
Yeah, I really appreciate this perspective because this is not always the narrative that you hear when it comes to selling businesses. And as many people are growing things, you're passionate about things, you love what you've built. You have options in who you sell it to, and it can look completely different for you. It doesn't need to look like what someone else's business has been when they have taken on, $50 million in investors. It can look completely different. And so I absolutely love that for you. Do you think that you'd ever sell again? Are you like, hey, it needs to look different? Like, do you believe that you might start something or that you're currently doing something that you think could result in you selling again?
Well, this time I'm hoping to be on the buyer end.
Okay.
So I would like to become more of an investor in businesses versus being on the bootstrap the business, build the business and sell the business. I'd like to find an amazing business or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6.
See, wait a minute.
that I'm interested in investing in and where I can be a silent investor.
Okay.
I think I'd like to get on the other side. Okay. Hopefully.
So less of a founder and more of an investor, which completely possible.
That's what I would like to do.
Okay. All right. Can we talk about mistakes? Okay.
Absolutely.
While you have in any of the businesses that you've started and the ones that aren't on this list as well, because the bakery wasn't on here. Okay. You have the privilege of mistakes. And I say the privilege of mistakes because we decide what we want to do with our mistakes. Tell us, the Just Start community, what's one of your more memorable mistakes? Maybe even one that you're just like, I can't believe I made this mistake again. Like one of those mistakes that you feel like, ooh, I did that. What's that for you?
Let's see, which one can I reach for? Because I've made a lot of mistakes, along the way, for sure. I think in the business I sold, one of the biggest mistakes I made was borrowing too early. I don't think it was time for me to borrow yet when I borrowed. Okay. And people were throwing all kinds of money at me, and all money you should not be taking. Okay.
So people like individual investors or institutions?
Institutions.
Okay.
And then especially with e-commerce, capital loans, and people will try to.
Yes.
They see that money being made and they want to capitalize on it. So they will start throwing you all kinds of loans. Like it's so important, like for entrepreneurs, business owners to educate themselves about their money. Just because you're a creative, it doesn't mean that you should not be educated about your money. Because if you're not, you'll dig holes in your pockets and you'll lose it as fast as you make it. And so I've always told myself in the past, I'm a creative. Let somebody else handle the money. Let the accountant handle the money. Let somebody else. But some of the decisions were made by me, and out of not being educated properly on making those decisions. And I think that a lot of money was borrowed early on. So I had to do a lot of digging myself out of ditches financially earlier on in the business because the business grew extremely fast. Okay. That's probably the biggest mistake, to be transparent, that I could reach for. Yeah, was educate yourself. Don't be fast to borrow from people. Really educate yourself about money and understand how it works. Understand when is the right time for you to borrow. Things like that. Yeah. Didn't know any of it. And so
And you had to dig yourself out.
Yep.
But you did. You did. It's so fascinating too, because it does seem like as a business owner, money does feel like it's thrown at you a lot. And every, if you have a accounting software, they are in there. Now they're in text messages. I'm not sure if you're in.
Yes.
They're text messaging me every day. Jacqueline.
Every
do you wanna,
single
First
day.
of all, how did you get my number? Okay. Second of all, stop calling me. So I do think that it is so smart for you to learn about all these investment and financial vehicles and tools. And now, luckily, we're in this information age that there are tools everywhere for you to learn overall.
Right.
Okay. You mentioned creativity, and so I have to go there with creativity because before I learned about your consulting business, before I learned about the bakery, right? I'm not going to rest until I get some brownies up in here, all right?
It's a lot.
I only knew you from the creativity lens, right? Of course, you and I met during the Goldman Sachs Small Business Program. We were cohorts in cohort 20 from Baltimore, Maryland. And I knew your work from Journal Junkbox. I knew the creative side of you. I didn't know anything else. And so creativity to me was always at the root of what you did, right? But I in understanding and being friends with other creatives, understand how creativity works. I mean, even as somebody who's an author, I understand that sometimes your mind has to be in the right space for you to be creative. It's not like this constant faucet of like, you turn on the faucet and creativity comes out. Like, you have to sometimes be in the mind space.
Right.
Did you also experience that where, okay, like I need to put together a box or I need to put together a creative concept, but I'm not feeling it. Like, did you have to do some extra work to get yourself into creative spaces, or did you find I'm always creative? What's your experience with that?
Especially when I did the box, I was creative most of the time. I had moments that I wasn't creative, and the box also didn't require me to be creative all the time because I had people hired that were taking over the creative process. They were kind of taking my ideas and executing them.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a constant thing. I think that even creatives need breaks from creating. So I don't know that it's all the time. Like, it's easy to be creative, but you can also burn out, especially having to be the main decision maker for your business. It's hard for you to also be turned on all the time in the creative lane. So I think that it was good that I had other people to carry the torch for me to say, this is my vision. Can you design it? Because what's funny about the box, I wasn't doing any designing. So there were stickers being made and notepads being made and note cards being made and journals being made from scratch. And none of those designs were mine. None of them were mine. They were all, this is the vision I have, and I was passing that vision to someone else, and they were carrying the torch from there. So it didn't require me like to be creative all the time.
Okay. You had to cast the vision.
Yeah.
And somebody had to allow the vision to come to life. Let's talk about that a little bit, because I don't think that I knew that was going on in the background, because it wasn't none of my business. But here we are, and so now it is my business because I'm asking. How difficult was that for you to get to the point of, let me not be tinkering and let me be a caster of a vision and get people on board? Like, how difficult was that transition for you, or was it at all?
Funny story, okay? Earlier on, when I started the business, I did actually think that I needed to be the person that made everything and created everything. I did, and I actually had like 4 or 5 Cricut machines and 2, 3, 4 printers, and we were like printing stickers. It was like a sweatshop at my house. My whole family.
Get it done! Get in there, little toddler! Make the stickers!
My whole family. This goes back to where my family's like, thank God you want to take a break because you're working us too.
Oh, wait, now I see. That's because
Right,
they were in
right.
a sweatshop. You had these kids in the...
Yeah.
I mean, respectably. Not for real in a sweatshop. Don't take my friend to jail. Okay?
Right, please don't take me to jail, please. But yeah.
It's done now. She sold the business. It's over.
The whole family, like, I never forget, we were working for 7 days.
7 days away. A week?
7 days and 7 nights. 7 days and 7 nights.
I was about to do a Tony Braxton.
Like no sleep, like to make a box packing day. We were like, and I think after that whole thing, my back gave out. I was like, I am not the I am creative, but I am not the creator.
Yeah.
Like I am not the factory. I am not.
And my kids ain't either.
Right. We are not, this is not it. And I think that it's just learning yourself from experience. I think that when you ask me the question about next time, would I sell another business? I think I've realized that I'm great at ownership. I'm great at execution. I'm great at giving my thoughts on something, my feedback, my perspective, right? But I don't necessarily want to do all the work. So I had to separate myself after that season of us being hands-on with the manufacturing of the products. It's real. Look, stuff was falling apart in customers' boxes. Like it was my husband didn't know how to put together paper clips. Like it was just, customers were complaining. They were like, the glue came off the paper clips. The notebooks are coming apart.
Who is putting this stuff together?
These edges are sharp. It was like that. It was like that. And I was like, this is not going to work. So I had to draw a hard line between me trying to be the everything person, the it girl, to let me stay in my lane and hire some people to do this work and outsource this work because that's not my lane. But I've been there.
Not the sweatshop, though.
The sweatshop. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, listen, we do what we must.
I sold every last cricket in the Facebook marketplace. And there are no remnants left in my home.
Enough is enough.
Yes.
Yeah. I do think that to someone listening today, I hope that for someone listening today, they are inspired enough to hire. And we both know that hiring is hard, right? Hiring takes a degree of assessing. Am I prepared to pay somebody else? Do I trust them enough? However, in many cases, it is a difference between burning out and going to jail for running a sweatshop, right? Or taking a risk, right? Taking some calculated risk and bringing other people on board, right? Did you, in bringing other people on board, did you have to learn a different way to lead and manage? Okay.
Such a beautiful question.
Yeah.
You have to grow to lead. There's no way around it. And you have to be wise enough to help people to help you. And when I first started hiring, it was like, I'm not going to lie. I was like, you're the expert. You should know what to do. Here's the work. Just get it done. Don't ask me any questions. I hired you to know. And my team was just failing. And for a while, I went on like a firing spree. And it was because of me, because I was being a diva. And I wasn't realizing, I didn't realize that. I mean, when I went out to get a job, for instance, in the past, they didn't just put me in my chair and say, you're the expert, get started. Like there are so many different companies and they're ran so many different ways. They have to learn you. They have to learn what you want. They have to learn how you do things. They have to learn the do's and don'ts with your company, And so I had to treat it like a real company. If this is a real company, I should have training, right? I should have an onboarding call. I should be having meetings, on at least a monthly basis or a couple times a month with my staff. Like I shouldn't just expect them to know and course correct on their own. I had to start to treat my company like a real company and start taking my hiring serious. And what happened was people would stay longer with me. Like my last assistant stayed with me for the duration of the whole business, 6 years? She was with me for 6+ years, and she got great at her job over time, out of doing it over and over. But I'm just saying, I had to become a better leader in order for her to become better at her job. So I think maybe a lot of business owners do that.
Yeah.
They hire people and they expect for it just to be like perfect on day one because you're the expert. But if you don't treat your company like a real company and actually train them and talk to them and treat them like, a human being or, they can't work for you in a way that you would want because you're not providing them the information they need to succeed. And that's something I had to learn.
Yeah. I hired you to know. Do you understand how powerful that reverse mantra is, right? Because it's like a mantra that you probably shouldn't have. Any of us should have, like, I hired you to know.
Yeah.
Because what people don't get without you telling them is the vision, which is your job, right? It is your job to cast this vision that the people that you hire ladder up to. And yeah, you hire people that are qualified, but they are not qualified in Journal Junk Box or, you know, a consulting business because they haven't worked for you before, probably. I think that that is a really interesting and impactful takeaway. The other thing you said that I think is so important to remember is that if you want to be treated like a real company, you need to operate like a real company. Almost everybody who's probably listening today in the podcast has had a real job. And let me qualify real job. You've had a corporate job, right? With layers upon layers of things. And what's so fascinating to me about what happens when you work corporate and then you start to give yourself permission to start a business, start a side hustle, whatever, you forget that those companies are successful because of certain things. A lot of times it's their processes, their SOPs, their policies, their training. So you start this thing and you're just like, oh no, I'm gonna do stuff completely different. Like, hold up now. Like, these companies have been successful for a reason. And so, yes, you should have systems that you use and policies and trainings and SOPs. And so I'm happy that one of your bright lights, and maybe even a mistake, right? You didn't say it, but you know, sounds like a mistake to me, right?
Yeah.
Right. Was let me operate like a real company.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that is super fascinating. Can we talk about connecting and networking? Can we talk about that?
Sure.
You and I have, I'll speak for myself and then I'll ask you if this is true. I've reaped the benefits of having some built-in networks from the things that I've committed to, right? A couple of companies I'm on the board for, community organizations, even the Goldman Sachs program, right? The fact that we were in this program together now has positioned us to network and connect with each other and become friends, and that's cool. But I'm curious about your journey with networking and connecting. And I want to know first, when we talk about traditional networking, right, you go to an event, you pass out cards, whatever, okay? You look like you're getting flustered about this whole
repositioning.
Right, like,
okay. Chair.
How much longer is this podcast? I want to know, what grade would you give yourself on traditional networking? A being great, F being F.
If I'm nice, an E.
That's still an F.
Yeah. I'm just not that great at it. And I think that, you know, I'm big on the word authentic.
Yes.
I just don't feel that many networking situations that I've been in are very authentic. I don't like the idea of meeting someone. Mm-hmm. They're only interested long enough to know whether or not I can serve them well. Mm-hmm. And if I can't, or vice versa, the conversation is cut and they're off to the next person. And I don't enjoy that because I like to really get to know people and see what their vibe is like, because I feel like, you know, are you the type of person I would, if it comes to that, you know, who are you?
Yeah.
And I think that we don't ask that question enough. It's just in those situations, it's like, who can serve my business? Mm-hmm. Who can I make money with? Yeah. And if I can't, I'm no longer interested in you, and I'm no longer interested in the conversation. And you know that I was in the retail space, especially in Goldman's, and so many other people weren't. And so, you know, it's a lot of government, business and things like that. So what could I do for them with my box? So I just felt like a lot of networking opportunities were just very cold and they weren't very friendly. And so I just haven't enjoyed those situations very much. So I'm that person off to the side eating cheese, and the right people seem to be drawn to me, right? But I'm not actively, what do you do? Yeah. And then once I find out what you do and I don't feel like it fits what I do, I'm just off to the next person. I don't enjoy that.
Yeah. You don't like transactional.
I don't.
Yeah. I completely understand that. And the upside with how you can choose to run your business is that you can choose to run your business how you choose to run your business, right? For some people, they are transactional. And they're like, you know what? When I go to events, I want to know specifically what people do. And if I can do business with them, I'll talk to them. And if not, then I won't, right? And okay, I'm with you. Like, more and more, I've probably been this way from the beginning, though. And I suspect that you have been as well. Like, I like to like people, right? Like I don't actually like to do business with people that I don't like,
There
because
you go.
you know, it's like this doesn't feel, it doesn't align with my values.
Yeah.
Right. Do what you want to do with your own values, but I appreciate that. What I will say though, as an additive to that question about the E grade that you gave yourself, which is really an F, by the way, is I do want to understand though how you do maintain community. Okay, because there is networking, traditional networking, but then there's community, right? Some people might argue that this is community. How do you maintain community?
I think, what do they say? Your vibe attracts your tribe.
First of all, I ain't never heard that before.
Oh no,
No.
get with it because it's a thing. Okay, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Well, hello.
Listen.
Vibe, tribe.
That's literally how it's happened for me.
First of all, where'd you hear this phrase at?
It's somewhere. I've been saying it for a while.
Okay, it might be on the TikTok.
Yeah, it might be. You'll find it on TikTok. Your vibe literally attracts your tribe.
I love it.
That's what I live by.
Yeah.
And I feel like even in Goldman's, like,
Yeah.
you and I started to vibe together. The least likely people in the room, in my opinion, that I even thought would even talk to me were the people that I walked away with great friendships with, great connections with, that I'm actually doing business with today.
Yeah.
And I didn't chase them. And no, it's not my strength to walk up to someone and I'm only interested in them for what they do. That's not me. And again, I think I shared with you before, like, being visible
Yes.
is what has brought many of my connections. So outside of a situation like a Goldman's, so many connections have happened for me because someone see me somewhere and they're like, she's awesome. I saw this girl. I think you should have her at your conference. Here's her email, or direct messages of, I love what you said on this video. This is really something that I also believe. I think you would be great for this opportunity, or can we have a talk? I think our values align. So I think all the getting visible and people being able to like see me and see what I'm about and see what I'm talking about, I feel like that has opened up friendships, opportunities. I mean, I don't want to share my age here, but
You can do what you want to do, because your vibe attracts.
I'm pretty young, but I'm just saying that I've literally, but most of my friendships, I have a lot of new friendships. Most of my friendships have come over 30. And I feel like that wouldn't be possible without me being connected and getting visible the way that I have. I mean, I have friends in London and here and there, and that would have never happened if I weren't clicking the record button.
Yeah. Oh, so it's two big things there. One is, the reason why this question is so important is because there are lots of people that I know who do not want to network traditionally. It doesn't feel good to them. It feels transactional. And in this world where time is such a commodity, they don't want to waste their time just, exchanging thoughts, ideas, energy with people that they really don't like, just for exchange of revenue, maybe, right? Maybe not. And so if you are somebody who's listened to the podcast and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I really do need to network more, but I'm refusing to do it because I think it has to be like X. It doesn't have to be like X. It could be what you want it to be, right? And it can be in spaces with people that you actually want to spend time with. But if you're not getting visible at all, if you're not sharing with people what you're into, if you're thinking that some community is going to come to your house via your plumber,
right,
like, it ain't happening. So you need to get visible in a way that feels right for you. So that's one thing. The second is this anti no new friends movement. What you said, well, you're in the movement because you said a lot of your friendships have been acquired post age 30.
Yes.
The reason I bring this up is because I have even some close friends that haven't been open to new friendships, on a day one crusade. And I'm like, look, I love all my friends at different stages, different phases. I have friends who are married, friends who are not married, friends who have kids who don't have kids, entrepreneur friends and not. And it is, to me, so incredibly important for you to have friends in different pockets of your life.
Yes.
And a lot of times those friendships can come to be after college, after grad school, right? But if you're just like, you know what, I'm only going to be friends with my day ones from when I was 9 years old, is that friendship serving the pockets of life that you've invited yourself into? And so I've talked to several people about either their plight or their success with looking for friendships past age 30. And it's like, past age 30, you might be a completely different person.
Yes.
Like you might not even be, you don't even recognize your 21-year-old self, right? For you, is making friends easy?
I don't think it's hard. I don't know that it would be, I would consider it easy. I'm definitely a peculiar kind of person. So I don't know.
You are.
Know.
So
Yes.
I'm so happy you said that because I was thinking it, but I was like, I'm going to let her say it
Right.
first.
I am a peculiar, so I don't know that it's easy, but I think that, again, the vibe tribe thing,
Yes.
my people just kind of know. And I just kind of know. And I think that what you said about everybody can't maintain their second grade best friend. And I'm not one of those people. I've been 30 people since second grade, maybe 100 people. I've grown at an extremely rapid rate. And that's not to brag. Maybe that's problematic. I don't know. But I've grown.
Has it served you?
It served me.
Yes.
But I've grown. I have grown. I mean, even today, like I could walk through the door with a problem and you could talk to me. And if I hear a perspective from you and I'm like, I want that perspective, I'll just step into it.
Yeah.
And now tomorrow I'm a new person, right? And so I've done that time and time again after a book I read or a talk I heard or a conversation with my mom or a friend or whoever. If I want to take on that new mindset or that new way of being, I would just very quickly do it. And I know that everybody doesn't do that. So it's just been like very impossible for me to maintain friendships with people who I've just outgrown like 50 times, not on purpose. So it's been crucial for me to meet people over 30. In my over 30 era. It's been important for me to meet new friends who can support, and I can support where they are, but they can support where I am today and who I am today.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that.
Yeah. I think that word you just used, era, is so important. I talk now about a lot of people being in their hosting era, right? The ability to be comfortable with inviting people into your spaces, gathering, etc. But this idea and belief that you can embrace new eras is so important.
Yeah.
Because you might be waiting to give yourself permission to be in your entrepreneur era, right? Or your travel era or whatever. But if you're just like, oh no, like I'm being my most authentic self when like that was you at 17. Like I don't know about that. So I appreciate a couple things that you said. I'll say one of the biggest things is I've been 30 different people. And man, like you don't.
I might have been somebody different last week. I don't know.
Be like, Dallas, is that you? No, girl. First of all, I know it's you.
Right? It could be that. Seriously. So.
Like, I know I met you before that Dallas. It's Keisha. It's not. It's Dallas. I met you.
Like that.
Right? Okay, you scaring me though. But I get it. Like I totally get, like give yourself permission to experience new things, experience new journeys, what you might be capable of that you didn't know you were capable of. One thing you said too that I think is worth me going back to. I was going to skip past it, but it's now bothering me. Like ask her. Was I could walk in here today. You could share a perspective with me. And I could literally embrace that perspective and be a completely different person.
Absolutely.
And think about like the people in our life, your life, just our podcast community. Think about even you. If you are telling yourself this outdated story of, I will never be able to speak on stages, even though you've read something that has told you otherwise. Somebody has told you that you are a good speaker, but you're still like, I don't believe that. And you're missing out on some of the best opportunities in your life. And so truly, what are the resources, people, podcasts, perspectives that are telling you what you need to hear and believe so that you can become the person that you truly want to be?
Yes.
Right? I just think it's such a simple but sometimes hard thing for people. Like, and to give people another resource on this one, you've been like this for a long time. You've been 30, 50, 96 different people, right? But why do you think it is that you are able to shapeshift in a positive way? Like why, what is it in your past, in your personality that, and I said personality and she said, and now I'm scared, y'all. But no, like what do you think it is that allows you to think again and to adjust. Like, why is that so easy for you?
What is it? Mental gymnastics.
Okay.
Literally. I had early on a really traumatic situation that left me nervous, like nervous to the point, like afraid to go outside, like not myself, like no good for anything. And I had to start from scratch, like telling myself a new story, changing my thoughts. Like if I just never thought I would be good for anything else after that situation, early 20s. And so I think that from that situation and being able to get myself together and become more from that situation, I think that I've been in the practice of that ever since.
Yeah.
So that's why I say like mental gymnastics, like the more you do it, the stronger you get. So if, you know, back then it was harder for me to believe that I could be a different person, right? It was harder for me to believe that I didn't have to be nervous, that I didn't have to be afraid to love again and all those kind of things. It's like walking again, right? But once I learned that, okay, if I consistently, back to the tell yourself a new story thing, if I consistently tell myself a new story about myself over and over and over again, and this could work for me to pull me out of where I am and now I'm a different person, I can do it 1,000 more times. Why not? You know, why not? So I feel like I'm always open to having a conversation with someone or reading a new book, or sometimes one of my favorites is watching a movie.
Yeah.
I get inspired. Somebody says something. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to think like that now. And I just do. So I think it's easier today because in the past, it just took a lot of practice. And I think the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
You know? So.
You just made a really simple, profound statement, and it is, I think I'm going to think like that now. And that's it.
That's it. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be hard. And I mean, I know everybody's superpower is different or gifts are different. And maybe some people, it takes them longer to decide that they want to change their line of thinking. I get it. But like you said, sometimes it's just that simple of turning on the light switch. You know what, this line of thinking is no longer serving me well, but you know what you said made sense, and I think that could fit. So I think I'm going to try that on for a while and see how that feels. And it's just as simple as changing clothes. Yeah. You know.
I think I'm going to think like that. I think I'm going to try that. I think I'm going to experiment with that.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. Everybody's journey is different. Everyone's challenges are different. But aren't you worth, whoever you are, aren't you worth giving yourself permission to try new things, to try to start new things, etc. It's amazing how we have a lot more opportunity to switch and adjust than what we give ourselves credit for. Like, I was joking around with one of my girlfriends last week. I said, man, I could literally get on a plane right now and be in Australia in a day. And would it be crazy? And would people be like, girl, where are you? But I could. Like, I could literally get on. There are so many things that we can do that we feel constrained by that we're not really constrained by. Yeah. I have probably one of the most important questions I want to ask you this evening.
Okay.
And it's what's next. Okay. Because as a reminder, you've done some stuff. Okay. You were a baker. Okay. You were a baker. I met you in the context of Journal Junk Box. I knew about DG Journals. I knew about Dallas Gordon Consulting. And I know about the impact that you are committed to making with women that you coach, right? And so although we talk with some regularity, like our friendship has grown for me to check in, and you check in with me, girl, how you doing? How you feeling? What's going on? What do I have permission to check in on for you in, say, 6 months? In 6 months, what can I say? Hey, girl, how is this going?
I would like to go back to doing things that are some of my hobbies that aren't just related to making money or business. Like, for instance, I used to sing.
Here we go. Here we go. What?
Don't you ever ask me to sing. But
what? I will.
I used to sing. I used to be a worship leader at my church. And so
girl,
I know that I'm gifted in that way. And so I plan on going to voice lessons this year and starting to develop that, because when I go out and speak, I would like to also sing. Things like that. I would like the way that I work to look different. So like you said, Pilates, I also enjoy Pilates. So I might start my day with Pilates. I may go for more walks. I think I was already doing that kind of stuff, but my work day incorporates those things throughout the day. So not just work, but maybe my work looks differently. So maybe I'm out taking a nature walk, and that's when I think through this thing. Or I just want to have more activity in my day. And I just want to be incorporating more things that I love to do and sort of be surrounded around that stuff throughout the week versus it just being at a desk working all day long. I just want the way that I work and play to look differently.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something you can check back in with, like, have you started your voice lessons
Girl,
yet?
okay.
You know,
and let me hear a
Yes,
let me hear a tune.
hear a tune. Yeah, and I want to definitely get more, because I've always been a person where even with the worship leading, I was never like a sing us a tune, girl, and I would just start singing. It was like a purpose behind me getting up there to do it. It kind of got me over the hump of doing it in front of people. I want to be more of a person that I'm just out with it, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm working on that stuff.
You know what I appreciate with this question is, you could have answered this question any way you wanted to answer this question. You could have said, well, you know, next year I plan on doing $6 million in revenue, right? And you didn't. You were, because I didn't give you any guardrails. I didn't say, what's the next business? I said, what can I ask you about in 6 months? And I think that in itself, hopefully you feel good about even probably rewiring your brain from how you may have answered that question a few years ago.
Absolutely.
My KPIs and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you're an entrepreneur. Those things are going to exist. Like you're going to make money. You're going to, you're going to have some profit, right? At a percentage that makes sense. But kudos to you for answering it in a way that is a reflection of how you truly want to live your life. Yeah. Dallas, thank you for spending time with me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, you have been here for yet another episode of Just Start, Get Visible, and it has been an absolute pleasure to spend some time here with Dallas. You know how it goes. No matter where you're at in the world, I hope that you're safe, you're healthy, and you're well. And I certainly hope that you're giving yourself permission to start the things that you want to do. So I expect from you that you're going to just start, get visible, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao.